Do you want to dominate the surrounding area alongside making Epidemis, Archeon, and Arabelle all your vassals? The way Daniel plays is very different from every single Legendary Lord inside of the game due to his unique mechanics. And in this situation, we want to make sure that we're going and taking these elements and specifically choosing Nurgle. Nurgle provides us access to armor that is absolutely fantastic. Oh, look, we've got an item. Shame we can't use it. But anywho, as we can see, we obtain some very tasty armor down the Nurgle tree. So the early game, all we're trying to focus on doing is getting access to the likes of the Wings of Pestilence. And within Khorne, we want to get the Sentient Tail, and then all we need from Khorne as well is the Helmet for Gorefeast. That is the core 3 of what we're looking for, regeneration and 2 elements of Mortis Engine. Once we've done that, what we're going to do is just go ahead and recruit some units. Due to the fact that Marauders and Nurgle are incredibly powerful, they generally have a lot more health, which is the mark of Nurgle, which makes it such a fantastic leverage against the likes of all the Zinshin that we're going to be fighting. So all we're going to do is grab 2 of those units, and what we'll do as well is grab ourselves a Herald of Nurgle as well, merely because of the fact that Nurgle magic is just unbelievably overpowered. Another thing to mention, when it comes to playing Daniel, my biggest suggestion here is go down the route of reducing the cost of your army. So we normally go into Glorious Warfare first, then into Respect of the North. And what we want to do, as you can see further over here, these are where the upkeep reductions are. So we've got upkeep reduction of 15%. And also within the trees themselves, you'll have reductions, I believe, on this side as well. So as you can see, yeah, reductions for Khorne and Nurgle units. So basically all we want to do is go into this to reduce the costs, because Daniel, like we said a bit earlier, is very different from every other faction. Your income comes from reducing your cost of your army. That is your early game, and that is the bread and butter. Next up, we want to make sure to attack the next settlement. We are going to bring my other lord over, because the sooner we can get access into the likes of Fleshy Abundance, the better it is overall for my composition, alongside some really tasty magic. We're going to order these fights because they're not too challenging. We're going to also go into Nurgle once again. But here is the little bit of a different of what we're doing here. Normally you can build the Totem of Crow, so you can get growth in there as soon as possible, but this province is going to be your main province. This province over here is the cheeky little trick that we're going to be doing to get access into the likes of vassalizing Epidemis. So now we're building a military building. We can trade this Tower of Flies over to Epidemis for a vassalization, level up Respect to the North, and recruit 2 Marauders. The main enemy, Vindix, has run towards us. Typically, this doesn't really happen, so normally what you'll do is take the Ports of Secrets and then walk over here and probably ambush bait them and then take the Crystal of Spires. But due to the fact that he's right here, I don't mind that. We'll take the kill and finish off the main army on this side, giving and squeezing more experience into my armies overall. So once he's dead, all we want to do is grab some more Nurgle, especially because it's going to replenish the majority of our troops. We can't reach the Port of Secrets just yet, so just once again, grab more Marauders, level up to the Respect to the North, and let's end the turn. The second you get Wings of Pestilence, make sure to put it on straight away alongside the Sentient Tail, because now you have double Mortis Engine, and you are probably one of the strongest lords at this point due to double Mortis Engine, only at turn 4. Next up, attack Port of Secrets, making sure that you're attacking with both of your armies, because you want to maximize the experience. Next up, we'll demonstrate why we built a military building here. Let's go and speak to Epidemis, and you can see he already likes us because of the rulers of the North. So go ahead and trade this settlement, the Tower of the Flies, over to him and instantly accept the vassalization plus 2,000 for it. We've also recruited maximum amount, so yeah, let's just run towards the next settlement and make sure to grab that one when we get chance. Next up, we're going to move towards the Howling Citadel and absolutely murder them, as the most important thing for us to possibly do here is get access to the Severed Claw, as this basically makes the fight versus Boris incredibly trivial. Now we're going to be attacking the Howling Citadel and the Bloody Sword. I used Boris to squeeze and scam 500 gold out of him as well, but let's move towards the Howling Citadel and take this fight with both of my armies. Also, one thing to keep in mind, it's very important to transition your armor across to the Gorefeast, which is the charging horns, alongside other upgrades that you see within the arsenal that you have available to you. Once again, let's go into Nurgle and occupy the settlement and build growth and upkeep reduction for Nurgle. Now, with it a bit of a road pass, and this is something that's beautiful about the game in that there's a lot of variance of what will actually happen, but what we can do here is attack Boris' settlement over here if he takes the Burning Monolith, because like I said, we need level 10 to fight Boris, otherwise the Warbear Riders alongside Boris will become a big problem. We're going to do-si-dome around a little bit by taking the Burning Monolith, like we said, to get a really massive upgrade within the composition, because as you can see, we get 5 Regiments of Renown if we were to get level 10. Now, at level 10, make sure to upgrade your army with the relevant Regiments of Renown that you prefer to use. For me personally, it's anything anti-large, especially because I'm fighting against Boris next turn. Also, make sure to maximize your Friends of Decay now, and then now we're going to work down the tree of Nurgle. Before fighting Boris, make sure to check your armor. So we want to use the Fate of Buna and the Stream of Corruption, which should help us significantly. We're not really trying to fight Boris in a 1 versus 1, so let's just avoid that where possible. But as long as you've got access to these specific things, in that the Gore Feast for healing, Pestilent Decay, the Stream of Corruption, the Fate of Buna, and on the tail, or Sentient Tail, for the Mortis Engine. Now for the dreaded Boris, because truly the reason why this campaign is challenging is this exact battle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase and demonstrate exactly how we're going to be winning this, and hold your hand through this specific battle, because this definitely is the only real challenge early game that you're actually going to experience. And there's very key components as to how we can make this battle very easy for ourselves, so I'm going to break it down and showcase how. So what we want to make sure to do in this battle is dissect up where possible. So look at the battleground that you're on, and you can see here that we can funnel them through on this side, especially since we have very good magic to accommodate that. Our mage is obviously over here, but you can easily just shift them from one side of the battle to another. So what we're going to do is going to take control of the battleground over this side, leveraging the natural terrain where they can't progress through here, meaning that we basically get a free unit effectively holding that line for us. We're going to go with a little bit of a box formation situation alongside getting those over here. And then now what we can do is be very cheeky with Daniel, as you can see. So let's have a look at the background and see what they're doing. We have a lot of Winds of Magics to play with, which is actually so fantastic, especially because of like and subscribe, smiley face, has Stream of Corruption that we can overcast here. So let's just see what we can do for blobs. Generally speaking, I don't really have access to Stream of Corruption, but the way that this campaign has moved is delayed me by a turn, basically. So I did actually get access to a lot more magic this time, which I'm never going to complain. So the Corsairs have yet to shoot, so let's just try and take advantage of the situation and cast into them where possible. I will wait on the cast there because we can get something nicer. So yeah, they're trying to shoot on us, so they're going to be stationary. That's the timing for us to do damage into them. And obviously the beautiful thing about this one is it provides us Reign of Chaos, and that is how we're going to turn the tides of the battle massively into our favor. You can see that they're still doing silly blobs things, but what I'm trying to emulate is that Daniel is moving from left to right to basically make it so that they're thinking that my entire army is repositioning, but in actual fact it's just Daniel, and the majority of the balance of power within my composition is genuinely in Daniel currently. So let's get another blob to cast up and get lots more Reigns of Chaos, because we're looking for a Tzeentchian spell. So we're getting very close to it now. I mean, this is an El Clasico. I mean, the AI is being very silly, but thankfully they'll start to move towards me. But you can see that by knowing and understanding exactly what the AI is going to try and do in the battle, it really does start to trivialize it. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to dodge all the arrows here because I want them to stack up again, which means I can get another Juicy Cast Off, which then means I get the Tier 3 Reign of Chaos. Oh my god, we are so close to the Tier 3 Reigns of Chaos. I mean, what I could do is have a little look-ski over... Nah, it's anti-large demand. I was going to say, what we could do is have a little look-ski over there and see if we can cycle charge in, but I don't think it's worth it. We'll do another overcast here then. Let's get another cast off. I mean, generally, it's the Corsairs that are the main problem within this fight. Then again... Okay, we got the Tzeentchian one, which is actually pretty decent. So my army's basically just chilling and watching me do this. Because the problem I'm going to have is if I charge Daniel in, I will be surrounded by bears and surrounded by all sorts of other things. It's not very nice. So let's pull back and make the armies move towards me now. As we've basically done our exact job of what we tried to do. We've done enough damage to the army to annoy them enough to come towards us. As you can see, they are indeed tired. But let's let them move on towards us. My hero is now here as well, so we've got a double up of magic. We did take Rancid Visitations just in case we need it for Boris, but I feel like depending on how the AI plays this fight out, we won't really need to be worried about that one. Because I believe the Warbear Riders into Seekers of Slaanesh will trade up actually relatively well. So now what we can do is put the anti-large in the front line and then just have a look as to what they're doing. If this is no anti-large, this is just Armored Corsairs, so The AI has been silly enough for me to run in here, and I think this is one of the key important factors as most legendary lords in the game. If you have opportunities to take advantage or to gain a lot of bonuses within the battle, just go ahead and send it, especially when the AI is trolling. And you can see here that here's where the Gore Feast really starts to pay in dividends alongside the Double Mortis engine. And this is where your fight in isolation becomes incredibly scary for most units. And as you can see, we're completely crushing them, and we should soon be able to retreat. I am being shot at, but for now I'm not too bothered about that. Now we're bothered because the bears are coming in, so let's get my units in preparation. You're on the flank again, and then we want to make sure the pinks and the blues are moving up to shoot the bears. So let's go ahead and start firing into the Warbear Riders. Looks like some of the units are stuck, which is not ideal, but that's an El Clasico. Boris is running straight through, so here's where the anti-large comes in. The Severed Claws will probably absolutely smoke him. So now we run away, and as you can see, the bears are taking so much damage, which is nice. And all the range units, we're going to be using the Seekers to flank around on as well. But you can see here, all the Warbear Riders that we were worried about are all in the central fight here. And then now we can start moving the Seekers into a position of the Archers in the backline. We are going to take a full Ice Shard damage, but I don't think it matters too much. I'm going to get everyone into guard mode. I pressed G on accident, but that's fine. And now let's go ahead and do this. Keep firing into those. And then we're going to start firing into that. We're going to leverage the Zinchian specific ability, especially because that was a really bad cast on that one, but that's okay. Especially because of the fact that they're blobbing up massively now, so I'm happy with that. And once we've crushed through those guys, as you can see, there's going to be a ton of damage coming out. We're doing a little bit of friendly fire here and there, but, you know, it doesn't really matter. And then an overcast Adranted Visitation onto the likes of Boris. But generally speaking, you don't really need to worry too much about that. I'm going to send Daniel into Zargards because they have no anti-large. He'll be absolutely fine just doing a double mortis engine across the line, across everything, which is going to be really nice. And I believe even Boris most likely will be hit by it, and he is. So even better for us. And you can see here, we're getting a ton of damage coming out from the aspiring champions, just doing loads and loads of pressure onto Boris. So we did get the healing, which is probably the best case scenario, to be honest. Let's throw the spells out. And now this is the beautiful scenario of the Seekers are in a really, really advantageous position just to start effectively shutting down all of their backline units. We definitely could put Daniel into the backline as well now, but I want to make sure that I'm putting enough pressure on this side first. Let's go ahead and get a overcasted Stream of Corruption going through the line here. Marauders, I'm not really bothered about too much, to be honest. I'm more than happy casting into the Marauders. It sounds mean, but it's completely true. Now let's get the Plague Drones into the backline at the same time, and then now we can start using my inventory. I want to make sure the battle progresses enough, so I'm not just throwing units in for the sake of throwing units in. We're going to also go with the Rot with the Nurgle. Arguably going with the option of the Corn Horn might not have been terrible, but to be fair, the majority of my melee units now are not going to be punching their weight, and we can just use shift-click to move those guys around as well. And I think Daniel's probably just doing a great job of just absolutely battering them in the melee line. And you can see that the battle is very swiftly turning into our favor here, especially because the aspiring champions are basically killing the entirety of Boris's HP, which is exactly what we're looking for. And that is the reason why this unit is so unbelievably awesome, and I really, 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 really love it. So now, Buy Our Blood is happening because their Amulet bonus is triggering, so let's make sure we run towards Boris here, just to make sure this guy is dead, as that is the only real threat of the campaign, and he's about to perish. So there you have it. That is how you do the battle, making sure that you utilize your strong units into the weak armies and weak units. After you take the Burning Monolith on your next turn after killing Boris, make sure to put military buildings into both of the Burning Monolith and the Monolith of Fester Lung, because this is what we're going to do to vassalize the likes of Archeon. We now want to also make sure to fully kill and murder the rest of Boris, so let's move down towards the Tower of Torment while these buildings are getting the military buildings in them. And the turn after murdering Boris, you can now see that we can get Archeon as a vassal and get 2.8k out of it at the same time. We also get the Norskans as a vassal at the same time. Now, sail onto the seas towards Karak Vlag, and once we take Karak Vlag, we can trade it to the likes of Arabel to get him as a vassal as well. Now we're just taking Karak Vlag. You can see we're very, 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 very close to vassalizing him. I mean, we could I mean, funny enough, we can actually pay 12 grand to get him as a vassal now, but we don't want to do that just yet because we should be able to do it by just putting a marble into the building. And there we go. Arabelle has now become a vassal, and as we said, turn 22, we've managed to secure effectively the entirety of the northern front here. I was getting conscious this video was getting very long, so we cut out quite a little bit of things, but generally speaking, this is how you want to approach it. Daniel is very potent when it comes to reducing the cost of your army, alongside using armor pieces that make you significantly tankier. This is the reason why Nurgle is, generally speaking, very, very potent, because you get a lot of stuff that gives you a lot of tankiness, and that is the reason why Nurgle is better, and especially the roster that you can recruit. So one of the reasons why Nurgle is so good is just because of the fact that you can get Plague Bearers, you can get Marauders of Nurgle, which are powerful, you can get the Chaos Warriors at tier 3, the Ogres, and the likes of Pestigors as well. Everything you can recruit on Nurgle side is so fantastic, and it is, generally speaking, the strongest option you can get available to you. Now, there are things that I would definitely recommend. Obviously, the second that you get the likes of 550 Nurgle Glory, you should be using a Plague Ridden and recruiting that straight away. Alongside, if you get any others in any of these, like the Blood Reapers, for example, I need 31 more glory for that. Make sure to recruit one of those and just take advantage of what the tech trees that you see in here. But to be fair, this is a loose guide. You can play Daniel and leverage the skills or glory that you want for each individual faction, because all of them can work, especially with all the recent DLCs. But thank you very much for watching. Expect a new video the exact same time tomorrow as we're uploading daily.